Thousands of lives utterly destroyed for absolutely nothing. The abandoned mega project had once promised an entire new era of prosperity for the struggling coastal region. Its initial budget was set at $500 million. That was 20 long years ago. This massive undertaking aimed to transform a quiet stretch of land into a truly bustling global trade hub. The grand vision included a deep water port capable of handling supertankers. It also envisioned a sprawling industrial park spanning dozens of square miles. And it required a state-of-the-art rail network designed for rapid freight transport. 300 square miles of pristine coastal land were swiftly acquired by eminent domain. Local farmers and small landholders were abruptly displaced from their ancestral properties. They received compensation payments totaling $200 million. Many of these displaced families moved to nearby towns, expecting new opportunities. Some optimistically started small businesses with their newfound capital. Construction on the immense site began with tremendous fanfare and national media attention. Over 10,000 direct jobs were created in the first 5 years alone. Wages for these jobs were exceptionally high for the region. Local restaurants and small shops experienced an unprecedented boom in business. Property values across the entire area soared by an astonishing 200%. A palpable sense of hope filled the very air. Thousands of families from across the nation moved into the area. They sought work and a better life. The local population grew by 30,000 individuals in less than a decade. Existing schools became critically overcrowded. Essential infrastructure like roads and sewage systems struggled desperately to keep up with the sudden influx. Water supply issues became frequent and severe. Daily electricity blackouts were unfortunately common. Despite these mounting immediate challenges, a prevailing optimism remained stubbornly high. Everyone truly believed the long-term economic benefits would undoubtedly outweigh any short-term pains. The colossal project faced its first really major setback after 7 years of intensive construction. Geotechnical surveys shockingly revealed unexpected and highly unstable ground conditions. This was near the proposed deepwater port site. Extensive remedial work was immediately required. This unforeseen engineering challenge added another $100 million to the already ballooning budget. It also caused a critical 18-month delay in the construction schedule. Environmental activists launched a vocal campaign. They raised serious concerns about critical wetland destruction. Several costly legal battles ensued for years. These battles cost the government an additional $50 million in legal fees alone. Public opinion regarding the project slowly began to sour. But the project's sheer momentum was too powerful to be easily stopped. Thousands of workers and their families depended on its continuation. Then, political leadership in the capital abruptly changed. A new administration took office. They immediately questioned the project's fundamental viability. They cited the spiraling costs and irreversible environmental damage. Funding allocations for the project were progressively reduced. The once rapid pace of construction slowed to a disheartening crawl. Major subcontractors facing payment delays began to pull out their equipment and crews. Workers were tragically laid off in agonizing batches of hundreds at a time. The initial 10,000 jobs dwindled down to a mere 2,000. A wave of genuine panic spread quickly among the local residents. Businesses that had expanded significantly to serve the project workforce now faced inevitable ruin. Many of these businesses had taken out very large loans. After 15 incredibly long years and an expenditure totaling over $1.2 billion, the project was officially suspended. It was not outright canceled, it was merely paused indefinitely. This suspension delivered a crushing blow. It utterly devastated the already fragile local economy. 20,000 direct and indirect jobs vanished literally overnight. 150 local businesses closed their doors forever. Property values across the entire region crashed by an astonishing 75%. The local population shrunk by nearly 15,000. People had no choice but to leave to find work elsewhere. Entire neighborhoods, once vibrant with life, became desolate ghost towns. Empty homes and boarded-up shops lined the silent streets. The physical remains of this abandoned mega project stand as a stark and painful reminder. Half-built concrete structures slowly rust in the persistent salty air. Miles upon miles of unused rail track lead absolutely nowhere. Towering cranes sit idle. They are forever pointing towards a sky that holds no promise. The enormous deepwater port basin is now nothing more than a stagnant, polluted swamp. The once envisioned industrial park lots are completely overgrown with aggressive weeds. The region's already heavy debt burden increased by an additional $300 million. Local government services like public transport and healthcare were brutally cut by 30%. Mental health issues among the remaining residents soared to unprecedented levels. Suicide rates tragically increased by 50% in the 5 years following the project's abandonment. Children growing up in the area are living in the perpetual shadow of this colossal failure. They have watched their parents lose absolutely everything. The grand dream of a bustling global trade hub ultimately transformed into a suffocating nightmare. Generations of families are now deeply affected by its fallout. The initial promise of widespread prosperity became an unbearable burden of debt and despair. No new major investments have dared to come to the region since. Investors remain incredibly wary of the area's economic instability. The vast tracts of land originally acquired for the project now sit completely idle. They cannot be easily repurposed due to specific zoning laws and lingering environmental contamination. Their market value has plummeted to almost nothing. The initial compensation money received by the displaced farmers had long since run out. Many of them now find themselves with significantly less financial security than they started with. The environmental damage caused by the incomplete construction and subsequent neglect is a permanent scar on the landscape. Pollutants from abandoned machinery and materials continue to seep into the ground. Abandoned heavy machinery slowly corrodes into piles of useless metal. The financial costs continue to mount even in its state of abandonment. Minimal maintenance is occasionally performed, but widespread vandalism is depressingly common. Numerous complex legal disputes persist to this very day. They involve various contractors, the local government, and even national authorities. Each dispute costs millions of dollars in ongoing legal fees. It is a relentless drain on already strained public funds. The project became a powerful symbol of ambition gone horribly wrong. It now serves as a grim, cautionary tale for any future large-scale endeavors. A once vibrant and hopeful community now struggles desperately just to survive. Its future prospects remain profoundly uncertain. The economic ripple effects spread far beyond the immediate region. National credit ratings were affected, foreign investment into other domestic projects became harder to secure, confidence in government planning was severely shaken. Thousands of small businesses across the country that supplied materials or services suffered losses. The overall national economy experienced a measurable downturn of 1% in its growth rate for 2 consecutive years. This was directly attributed to the project's failure. Hundreds of millions of dollars of public money were simply vanished. The land itself is now considered toxic in many areas. Remediation efforts would cost hundreds of millions more, but there is no budget allocated for this crucial work. The environmental impact will last for generations. Local wildlife habitats were irrevocably destroyed. Endangered species populations were severely impacted. The project created a vast physical wound on the landscape. It also created a deep psychological wound on the collective consciousness of the people. No one ever talks about starting another big project in that specific area. The memory of the disaster is too fresh, too painful. It's a permanent stain. Generations will bear these unseen scars. Future generations will inherit an environmental and economic mess. A profound emptiness replaced all the initial excitement.